The biggest station in the world, playing all of today's hits. You're listening to Instinct Radio.
Hi, everybody. We're back this week, running just a little bit late, but welcome to the Husband Journal. We have some very special guests this week, so we're going to just kind of catch up with them, see what's going on with their event that's upcoming. And we're also going to talk a little bit about the book some more, because I just got Linda's attention when I said the Husband Journal. She's like, oh my God, what? So hope everybody's had a great couple weeks. So we're back this week every second and fourth Sunday from 1 to 2 p.m. As you know, I have some new hardware going on here. Got my braces this week, and then Thursday I'll be out for surgery on my ankle. So things I'm trying to do to kind of get myself back up 100% operating, running, you know, things that I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted braces, so I don't know how that decision, I don't know if that was a good decision or not. I haven't eaten solid food in like 3 weeks, so I'm just like looking at everybody's plate. I don't know what I'm going to do for Thanksgiving, just observe and eat mashed potatoes and macaroni and cheese, I guess. Yeah, so let me introduce my guests. So first of all, I have Mona Shorter.
Yes.
Yes, and I have Linda Robles.
Robles,
excuse me, yes. So these two ladies, I actually kind of met Mona via Facebook and via a mutual friend, kind of like through Dania and this little group that we're in, and it just kind of inspires and helps Christian women and entrepreneurs, and you know, if you're walking in your purpose, all those types of things, we kind of give encouragement to each other. Right. So we're going to get into a little bit more about the event that you have coming up and some of what that purpose is for that event. And then Linda, well, this is actually my first time meeting both of these ladies in person, but Linda also is connected with this event, and so her ministry and things that she has going on too as well, she's going to explain a little bit about that also. So we'll start out with you, Mona. It's good to see you.
You too. Finally meet you. I was encouraged. You know, we did our first interview concerning your book. I purchased the book and I enjoyed your book.
Yeah.
I said, I think you were my first person that I interviewed.
Yeah, I was.
Yes.
So if you will recall, when was that? Like in August?
August.
Yeah. So in August, I did it was my very first interview, and it was just kind of like an internet interview about the book and why I wrote the book and some of the backstory to the book. And I was interviewed by Mona, so now we're exchanging.
Yes.
So now I'm doing the interviewing and how things have just transitioned in that place, because I was thinking at the time, I would kind of be interested in doing a radio show. And then a month later, I'm doing a radio show. Yes. So just tell me a little bit about you, Mona, and kind of like, you know, what's going on with your ministry and things like that.
Well, I'm originally from a small town, Cordele, Georgia, and I migrated to Columbus, Georgia. Okay. Now I'm in the Atlanta area. Okay. I have 3 children and a grandson who I'm so
in love with. Yes.
So, yes. And for its ministry, I am catapulting the first part of my ministry, which is my women's ministry. It's called Powerful Woman of God. And that's where the conference is stemming from, that part of the ministry. Yeah.
And I know that when you and I talked, we kind of talked, and we'll get more into this about the actual purpose, but you've been feeling like God has been calling you, you know, step by step, piece by piece into this ministry. Yes. And I think that's how we all kind of come into it, you know, with not really knowing where this is going, but, you know, just kind of being obedient. Right. And I sent you that text the other day, you know, just stay with it, be obedient, just do what God is calling you to do, no matter how it looks or how it feels or seems at the time. All right, and Linda?
Hey, how are you?
Great, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
So tell me a little bit about yourself.
I am originally from Wilson, North Carolina. I hope my Wilson and my North Carolina family is looking and watching and listening. But I too migrated to Anniston, Alabama, and right now Carrollton, Georgia, where I've kind of found my way of my journey. It's not a husband journey; it's actually a single parent journey. Now having one adult child, he's my only child, which I call my only begotten. And so, but he is mine. But it's led me to a journey to help other young ladies, be it a teenage mother or even single moms and single dads, that are in a life group ministry that I have already, which was obviously set up on which Midway Church allowed me to have a platform to allow to do a single parent ministry.
Okay.
And I've actually extended that now to the public library, where it reaches more people in the public, whereas people, some people maybe not attend a church and maybe not even have a desire to attend a church environment, but it's open to where we can get together, have a little dialogue, and whatever we talk about, it ends with Christ, where it begins with Christ and it ends with Christ as well.
Yeah, and I think that's a good platform to meet them where they are, because everybody doesn't attend a church, as you were saying.
Correct.
Everybody doesn't feel comfortable in a church setting.
That's correct.
Because I know sometimes when they come, they feel like they feel uncomfortable, or they feel like, you know, what they've done is too far removed from church.
Right,
So
feel judged.
yeah,
And, you know, but that's just their feeling, and
Yeah.
like I like to share with people, that's how you feel about it.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, no one even verbalizes that. That's just our self-condemnation that puts us in that place.
yeah. Okay. All right. So, Mona, tell us a little bit about the event that you have coming up very soon.
Okay, the event is actually Saturday, November 18th at 9 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Okay.
It's going to be at 118 South White Street. I'm
Okay.
sorry, I got it
That's right. That's correct.
South White Street. And and what it is, the title that we came up with, that we messed around with, it was Women Achieving Great Exploits.
Okay.
And that was just a powerful revelation that God gave me, that the exploit is that means you can do anything that you want to do.
Yeah.
And I had to let women know the real reason for the conference is to let women know, no matter where you are, where you've been, you can still do great exploits.
Yeah.
And it's just a women empowerment luncheon to just empower you to go to the next level.
Yeah. All right. So what are some of the things that you're going to be having, like, at the luncheon to kind of promote that empowerment and that, you know, I guess, hopefully kind of ignite that fire in a lot of women? Because I think, like, you know, we as women, we have so much on our plates, and I've mentioned this so many times before, that we get burnout, or we feel like we don't have the support maybe that we need. And a lot of times we actually get that support from other women.
Right.
That's right.
Because we can see the vision in each other. We can see the gifts in one another. And so we're the ones kind of like rallying together and kind of creating this culture or this atmosphere of a community of saying, hey, girl, you got this. You can do this.
Exactly.
You know, let me help you. What do you need? You know, you need somebody to cook. You know, I can make this, or I can bring this together. Or, you know, I got a place. I can bring some chairs. I can bring a tablecloth.
Yes.
You know, we kind of come together as a community, which I love about every single guest that I brought on here, and every person that I would say is in my circle, that sort of camaraderie.
Right.
So what are some of the things that you're going to bring together, you know, at the luncheon, or, you know, offer women to kind of support them in there?
We're going to have some lovely speakers that are coming forward. With this being my first one, the only thing that I'm having now is just the support of the community, the support of the ladies, and the tools that each speaker is going to bring, that empowerment, that word. And we may not remember a lot of things. We may not even go away with the trinkets that, you know, that we have. They may be set aside, but that word will always stay inside
That's
you.
true.
So each
Yeah.
woman is going to bring a dynamic word on that day.
Okay.
And that will resonate and stay with you. I don't care what it is. Linda did a Bible study the other night, 2 weeks ago, and it just had my attention. We were talking about choices, and that stayed with me as in, you know, all through the week. And when I made a bad choice, I said, Linda, I made a bad choice.
Yeah.
So that word,
Yeah.
I'm just looking for that word to empower the woman to go forward.
And you're right. It could just be like one word
One
that's
word.
that you hear that clicks or resonates in your mind, and you're thinking, okay, that's the takeaway from it. So like you said, choices, and that's a good one, because, you know, every day, everything we do, there's a choice to get up, to stay in bed. I mean, that's the first choice we make every single day.
Correct.
And also thinking about the repercussions of that choice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, what are some of the other things? You said you're going to have some speakers. Are there any vending opportunities? Like,
Yes, there are vending opportunities that we still have that's still open. Probably Wednesday will be my cutoff date.
Okay.
To get them in, and you can also, I think you have listed the website is on the flyer. It's Zeta Blast /IMOG. You can go there. You can pay for your tickets there, and you can also get your tickets for vending there.
yeah. Okay. All right. Linda, what do you want to add to that?
Well, I just wanted to share that even the other night, of course, in the middle of a Facebook moment, I was, and also on a meetup. I've gotten a meetup session with some single parents there, and as I was broadcasting or just trying to display about the event, I looked at women achieving great exploits, and wage just popped out at me. I was just trying to think of a word that could, a one-word acronym that would explain what we're trying to do. We're waging war against, Satan and his tactics.
Yeah.
About what we're trying to do, and WAGE, women achieving great exploits.
Oh,
wage.
wow.
And it just popped up like that. But I wanted to just let everybody know, as Mona has said, the importance of achieving those great exploits.
Yeah.
When I have gone out into the public platform and shared the invitation, and they just kind of look at you, and they say exploits. I'm like, yeah, for the most part, people think of exploit in the negative connotation. Exploiting children, exploiting, just in the negative way.
Yeah.
But exploit means to expose.
Yeah.
To really expose these great talents and skills that God has given you, and it's your responsibility to use them. But what a lot of people fail to do is understand that if they don't use those skills and those talents, they'll either be taken away or they'll be given away.
Yeah. Wow.
And what you don't want to take with you to a grave is a wonderful skill that could have just changed someone's life.
Yeah.
But you just don't know. You can't be afraid. You can't be fearful.
Yeah.
You just have to go out there and do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a very good point. I saw something earlier today, and my mentor, and I peek at all her stuff. So, hey, Bridget, I'm always watching and always admiring you. She posted something earlier, and we're kind of like group reading Chase the Lion by Mark Batterson. Yeah. And so she mentioned, it was like something she posted on Instagram, or it was just like a meme or something. But it was saying, you're too talented to stay broke. And so I think that plays kind of like into what you're saying. It's like we have so many gifts. And I mean, if we even tapped into, I would say like 5% of the gifts that God has given us.
Right.
Because it's multi-layered. It's not just one thing. You think, okay, well, I have the gift of singing. I have the talent of singing, which I don't. But, I'm just saying, for example, or book writing or whatever it is. But that's not the only talent that you have.
Right.
And you have to get in an environment that feeds and fosters those gifts so that you can keep revealing, what other gifts lie underneath that.
Exactly.
So I think that, we get so complacent and we are afraid. And maybe, like you said, we don't have that support. Or we see an expo like yours, and we say, well, I don't know if I want to go. What could I possibly get out of it? Or, it costs too much. We spend more than that on shoes, or on a hairstyle, or on makeup, or, frivolous things that we really probably should use to invest in ourselves. So I think, by going to conferences like this, and this is why I always, kind of like emphasize it and, give a platform to promote them, it's because we have to do these things to feed ourselves and to get out of that complacency and to move into whatever that purpose is, because that's where we're going to see God opening up so many doors for us.
Yes. That's correct. My friend, I want to just piggyback off of that. That, like you said, that's a choice you have to make.
Yeah.
And when I started my single parent ministry, that was a choice. It was it started with another young lady, Kathy Farley, just a wonderful person. She and I thought about this, and we thought it was a great idea, but it takes finances to even just do, free things.
Yeah.
It costs, it costs a sponsor, for you to attend something free.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't really understand the back end of, of any event.
Yeah.
So they just figure it's not important to attend or RSVP or that matter. But with that being said, the choice we made to come out of Pikett and just do something for the community, we thought was just something that was needed.
Yeah.
There were different ministries and different what we call life groups out there, but nothing that we identified as with ourselves as being single parents.
Yeah.
Again, I have an adult child, but at the same time, there are people that have gone before me. I've kind of been there and done that in certain areas of my life.
Yeah.
And it's important to share that. Even though you can't pay people back for the times that they've helped you, you can always pay it forward.
Yeah. That's very
through
true.
someone else's life.
That's very true.
So the choice for me to be a part of what Mona has going on, this Women Achieving Great Exploits, that's a given. Why not share that?
Right.
Why not let other people know about it? You mentioned about women coming together. I have to add, though, the men in my life, not necessarily the husbands, but they have played their role.
She's been so intrigued by this title.
Right.
I think that took her off guard.
Yeah,
but
everybody has their role in your life. Just know that. Good or bad, they have their role. But and their purpose.
This is true. This is very true.
So, but the thing is, I've run into so many single dads that are really holding it down, doing the best they can. And I will say, on behalf, really, of my ex-husband, that he was one of the first people that I saw with the family support of taking care of his own child.
Yeah.
Where the mother did not do her part. She didn't do her role. All women are not great. We may be achieving great things, great exploits.
This is true.
But you have to, there are some people that are out here inspiring.
Right.
And there are men out here that are inspiring.
Yeah.
But they too have poured into our lives as women, and we recognize that.
Yeah.
So, and I greatly appreciate these people that have come across, my path.
Yeah.
Even up until today.
Yeah.
That are encouraging me to achieve great exploits.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we've had some pretty great people on here, because when you mentioned the single dads, I thought about my guest, Chris Huff. He came on a couple weeks ago, with his sock line, and he's one of those ones that I would say, hi, Chris, hope you're watching, that I admire, his tenacity and his drive.
Yes.
And taking care of his daughters, and also, trying to build a brand and a legacy for them. So, I think that, you're absolutely right. And I have great men in my life that, feed into me and that encourage and support. And, realizing that everyone you keep in your circle, they play a role, not just women, like men too. And I get a lot of valuable advice from men, and I'm like, why isn't this working out? They're sometimes the first ones to text me or call me or say, hey, it's going to be all right. You're going to be okay. Just hang in there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you're absolutely right. We got to give the men their credit too. So thank you, men.
We love you.
Yes, we do. So what are some takeaways that you think that maybe some of the young women will get, by attending this conference?
One thing that I wanted to say as doing great exploits that I'm going to emphasize on, I had to learn to be myself. And no matter, what Facebook, we looking at the lives of Facebook and the lives of Twitter and these other people. But you have to just learn to shut the noise down, shut everybody out, and be who God has ordained you to be.
Yes.
It's because you're not a carbon copy of anybody but Christ.
Yeah.
And those are the only things that we try to instill in ourselves. It's the Word of God.
Yeah.
So I had to learn to be myself to even step out to do this exploits. Without fear, daring. I had to be extraordinary. I had to know those things were on the inside of me.
Yeah.
So that's what the empowerment is for, and that's what I want women to take away.
Yeah.
That, no matter what Franda is doing, Franda is in her own lane.
We
no
keep
matter
saying it.
what,
I swear like the same.
no matter what, no matter what Linda's doing, she is in her own lane. And I got resources for you.
Yeah.
I got resources for you,
Absolutely.
but I got to be who I am.
Yeah.
And that's what I want women to know, even to step out of their comfort zone, to be who God has called you to be, and stop being scared.
Yeah.
And stop being that people judge you. People gonna judge you. They gonna think what they want to think about you all day long. You
Yeah.
can't stop that.
Yeah.
That's right.
So in order to do great export, you just got to be yourself.
And just stay in your lane and focus on your lane.
Right.
And I'll share this with you guys. I had kind of debated on talking about it today, but I took a little break from social media for a couple days this week because one of the things that I'm battling with, and it's kind of, I guess, hereditary, is depression. So, especially during the holidays, it just really, it's like almost like something is sitting on my chest. And I know it's a spiritual battle, but I also know, it's a lot of other factors involved in it because when I was 9, my mother passed away on Thanksgiving Day.
Oh, wow.
So that kind of every November, creeps back into my
Of
mind,
course.
whether I'm thinking about it or not.
Right.
Just something, I guess, just a reminder that Thanksgiving is coming up. It's going to be the memorial of her passing and, just things that were happening to me at the time as a 9-year-old, psychologically. But I'm saying all this to say it's like, we look at Facebook and we see these perfect bodies. We see what we figure to be these perfect lives. Right. And so one of the things that I did was I did share a post and saying sometimes it's okay to not be okay.
That's right.
Because I think people have to see the full you.
Right.
And not that you want to put all your business out there, not that you want to say, you know, I'm having a bad day every single day, because you want to speak positivity into your life. Exactly. But sometimes peeling back that layer just for a moment to share and say, hey, I'm not doing okay right now. I will be okay. I need to take a break, but I'm dealing with something right now.
Right.
So my life, even though you see me smiling on social media and, you know, laughing and tagging my daughters and things and doing all these things, there's something still there in the background that I feel like kind of tries to stop me from living and walking in my purpose. Right. And so, you know, when you said wage, that made me think of like we're in a war.
Yes.
And that we have to, you know, stay connected to other Christian women and men to be able to fight this battle.
Yes.
Because we can't fight it alone. Okay. Sometimes you may need someone to just come knock on your door and drag you out the bed and say, you know what? You have too much to give to this world. You're valuable, and you can't go out of this world without sharing those gifts.
Exactly.
Right.
That's what you're put on this earth to do.
Exactly.
Not to make $1 million or do all these other things that we feel like we need to accomplish in our lives. Our first and primary purpose is to walk in God's purpose and His plan for us.
Exactly.
And so I'm saying this and I'm sharing this. I'm probably going to share more over the next couple weeks about my battle with depression, and because I feel like there are people out there who need to hear it. And not only like with this book, but there'll be other books that I'm going to come out with and probably working on during my little downtime of, you know, my ankle surgery. Mm-hmm. But I think, you know, it's important for us to share those stories.
Right.
And to be kind of transparent in some of the things that we're going through.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I guess I can say that about myself too, friend. I don't know. You've identified your scenario as dealing with depression. Mm-hmm. If you're like me and many other people, a lot of times we don't diagnose or identify with certain words because we don't want to. Yeah. And I probably deal with that a lot of times because just as being a single parent for so long that even a girlfriend of mine, coworker, she said, I need for you to stop being church lady all of the time. And I'm like, huh? And so, but that's my personality. But going back though, a lot of times I feel like I have to always hold it down. I have to always, you know, stand tall, be strong, and you know, never let my guard down. You know, even with my son, you know, I have to portray this. I feel like I have to portray this person who I've got your back. Don't worry about it. You know, we're gonna do this together. Which I vocalize that to him. But there are times where I just want to shut it down. I want to be able to
stay in bed.
You know, I might want to cash in on the vacation days. I just put them up there,
or a sick day or something. Yeah, just I need
something.
A me day. I can't.
And I haven't. I can just do it. I just need to do it.
Yeah.
But it is hard to just shut it down and calm down and let someone else take the reins sometimes, and or just not even worry about it. Yeah. You know, or just come back and revisit it later.
I think that's a part of. I think that's a part of growth and being transparent. Sometimes we're private, and sometimes we're too private. Yeah. But we have to know who to reveal to, and to. I think a part of plugging into your greatness, to doing anything great, that you have to have somebody you can vent to. That doesn't take your venting, you know, to take it public. Right. Yeah. You need somebody that you can go to in private. Right. And we've all dealt with depression. Yeah. But a lot of times we don't want to get help. We do self-diagnose. We do self-diagnose all the time, and we don't want to get help. Yeah. And that causes you to stay in a place of just complacency for a long, long, long time. Yeah. You know, we don't want to talk about it. We try to be super women and super men, and we're not. Yeah.
And that actually makes it worse.
It does.
It actually exacerbates it because we're putting on this facade that we can take on anything, we can handle anything. And I guess the best way that I understand it was the way that my therapist explained it to me. She was like, you know, in the level that I was operating in when my children were younger after their dad passed, I had to be kind of like super mom. Right. doing it all. So when they were sick or homework assignments were due, projects, dinner needed to be cooked, laundry needed to be done, you have to be able to operate at that level even if you're not feeling well.
Right.
So for so long, I think we drive ourselves, we push
Yes.
till you get to this point where you don't need to operate at that level anymore because they're adults, they can take care of themselves, but you burned yourself out.
Yeah.
So
I
you
agree.
need time to just kind of, rejuvenate and, just kind of take care of yourself.
Get
a
to
lot of
know who
self-care.
you are. Get to know. Sometimes you don't know what you like.
Right.
Because you like what I don't like nuggets, but I eat nuggets because you got nuggets. I really want a foot long.
Right.
But so
Right.
and that's where I'm coming into this season in my life. I'm getting to know what I like, what I want, and I'm not allowing other people to push my buttons because you want to go on the 7 C's. I don't want to go.
Yeah.
And so I think sometimes depression, it engages with different things in our life because we want to be all other people want us to be.
Yes.
And we don't take the time to say, okay, no, I'm going to be me all day long.
Yeah.
So
And it's okay to have that pajamas day.
Yeah.
Where you just lie around.
Right.
I probably have had a little too many of those recently. I'm just like,
your head scarf. That's all I want. That's all I want today.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. And just to know who I am and grab hold of who I am. I think in this season that I really pulled off some things and pulled off some people, and therefore my circle has changed. My mindset has changed. I'm just, if I don't feel like it, I'm just not gonna do it. I'm not gonna go to every event.
Yeah.
Everything and burn myself out.
Right.
I'm gonna get what I need home if I go once a week to your event or whatever.
Yeah.
I may not plug into everything you do.
Yeah.
But know that I support you.
Yeah.
But I just learned just to relax and be me. Be me so I can rejuvenate. Okay. Now I can do what God has called me to do because I'm so buddy with you, trying to go with you. But that's not what God has called me to. Sometimes we have to walk this thing by ourselves.
Yeah.
And that was a time when you came to yourself. Okay, this is depression. This is depression. You became unplugged, from the word and said, okay, this is depression again, or whatever the case may be. That's what we have to do.
Yeah. And I think, kind of piggybacking off of what you were saying, even acknowledging what it is and coming to terms with it. Because there's a stigma on a lot of the things, illnesses or things that we may be going through. There's always a stigma with depression. And people misunderstand it and think, okay, well, you're just being lazy or unmotivated or, everybody gets sad, you're exaggerating. And it's like, no, it's really a chemical imbalance
It is.
that, you can be happy one day, you can be, out with your friends, and then you have that lull and you don't understand why. And especially with women, our hormones are up and down all the time anyway. So we're like, why am I crying? Or why am I depressed? But, having, something to explain why you feel like that.
Right.
And also then knowing how to go about treating it. Talking and realizing, okay, I'm feeling depressed. Now, what can I do to change my mood?
We don't like treatment. Black
Yeah.
people,
I like it.
We don't like to go to treatment.
I
We
love
don't like to
going-
identify. We want to self-medicate or whatever the case may be. But sometimes you have to come to the point where I need to go to the doctor.
I like going because I can't fix myself.
Yeah.
How y'all doing it again? Yes, I'm back.
This is what I pay Kaiser for.
Yes, absolutely.
So,
yes, Blue Cross
yeah.
Blue Shield. Yes, let's do this.
That chunk of my check that y'all take every month, I'm here again.
Yes. Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, it's, and I think that kind of plays into, what you were saying about the wage part, waging war, even if it's being diagnosed, not being afraid of that diagnosis,
exactly.
and knowing how to treat yourself, knowing when you need to pull back. When you need to say, okay, there's too many things going on, my phone is too noisy, I just have to put it on do not disturb or turn it off, or tell my daughters, they can reach me if they need to get in touch with me, but everybody else, I'm turning it off for the night.
Right.
I'm going to bed.
Right.
My dog and I are going to sit in here and drink green tea and watch Scandal, something.
I hear you.
Yeah, and so I think I've had to put those boundaries in place in my life. And people are like, I called you, I texted you, you didn't come back till next morning. It's okay. It's okay, I'm fine. And, I'll get back to you after I have my moment to decompress.
You're right.
because the world does get a little too noisy, I think, for me, especially when I'm running and doing a lot of things, and it's kind of like, you know.
It can be that way. It can be that way.
Yeah, yeah. And I would say, too, identifying that even though we don't realize it, the things that we go through, like our kids see that. Yeah. They see us taking on a lot. And then they see us in those moments where we feel like they don't notice that, you know, we're stressed or depressed or whatever's going on, but they do see that. So the thing I've learned too is being honest with my daughters. If I feel like I'm depressed, I'm honest with them. I say, you know, I feel like I'm getting a little depressed. I'm going to take a little time to do this, that, and the other. You know, and they say, okay. Because the thing I want them to know is that if they feel that way, it's okay. And let me know. We can talk about it. You're not alone in this. Have a dialogue about it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because I had a little scare over the weekend with one of my daughters, and I didn't know that she was going through depression as well. She didn't share it with me. So I had her come home, and, you know, we've been hanging out and just talking about it, and, you know, we're going to get some treatment and help for her. Because I'm so wrapped up in my thing that I'm thinking they're okay. But again, you know, they're trying to be strong for themselves, not realizing that, you know, we're all doing the same thing.
Right. You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
You're strong by yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
They looking at the example that we're setting there. Because like my daughter told me one time, she said, I had put something on Facebook about I was crying, but I was using it just in another context. I was saying I wasn't really crying.
Yeah.
And my daughter, she said, I never seen you cry. And at one point she was like, you know, I don't want to be, she felt like she couldn't be vulnerable or in my sight because she never seen me. Yeah. But, you know, not that I don't do it. I do, but maybe not in front of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So we have to have that example. Okay, you can be vulnerable.
Yeah.
You can be, and at the same time, you can be strong tomorrow, but you can be vulnerable right now. So that puts me in another level, saying, okay, yeah, I got to really, you know, maybe I should cry.
That'll be nice. I was actually at my desk Friday. That's when you're talking about kind of, and I was not being bipolar. Maybe I was. I don't know. But of course, you know, there's some things going on, you know, in our family dynamic right now that, you know, it did really sadden me. And of course, I was at my desk, and everybody knows me to be this happy-go-lucky, you know, just really. But that's me for real. That's who I am. But one moment I was at my desk, like, you know, this thing I was like, they're like, Linda. And I was just cracking up at myself. Like, you're funny, Linda. What's wrong with you? But that's me. And sometimes I just have to laugh at myself, you know, and not just be on this crazy level. But it was just funny that I was like, oh, you were crying earlier. Now you're laughing. Oh, I can self-entertain real easily. Okay? I don't need a crowd necessarily. But it was great. But yeah, absolutely. But it was. I do find it hard sometimes to pour out. I don't mind talking, but I do find it hard to physically bring the tears out with others. Yeah. You know, I feel like I do need to just share my thought and encourage someone else. And you know, and walk away. But then when I get home and I close my door, so you know, you know, woe to me. But that's not the case. I don't have to be that way, and I think a lot of people do that. You know, they just suppress everything they have about themselves, not suppressing our talents and skills, but not suppressing our energies. You know, those lulls that we go in, and just sharing them with people to help each other, just kind of overcome.
And I think kind of getting to, you know, that whole part of your exploits, you know, what you offer, that gift. You have to go through all of those stages. You have to be able to identify with when you're strong, when you're weak, you know, when you're happy, when you're sad, because it all works together. And I think you don't understand what happy is unless you've been sad. You don't understand what rich is until you've been poor. You don't understand the full circle of everything until you experience it. So I think, you know, kind of understanding where you are at this point, but also knowing, you know, it'll get better. There's something else. If I was here and I've been here before and then I got out of this place before, I'll get out of it again.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's not completely the end.
Right, it's a lesson learned. So if I'm going back to certain things in my life, certain cycles, that means I have not dealt with that cycle. I haven't dealt with that issue. That, just like depression, you have to deal with it.
Yeah.
You have to really cause yourself to get in the place of, breaking that cycle. Or medicating it, you know, either way, how you deal with it, you get control of it, and that's what doing great exploits. You're not all over the place anymore. You become to a place of maturity.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
You exposing it. You telling people about it, and that's how we have to be transparent. We have to take off the mask and say, okay, I dealt with this for a long time. Now I'm better, and now you can help somebody else out in the audience.
Yeah.
And it's real.
Yeah.
It's real, and to do those great things in our life, and to keep you from falling backwards so much.
Yeah.
You can be solid at one point in your life. You can stop flip-flopping in your life. And I think that's where God is bringing us to. I said, well, by now I should have been here. I should have been there. Exactly. But I had to go through some lessons. I had to pass some tests. And now that I passed them, okay, now I'm really knowing. And I think the bottom line to this conference and the part of my women's ministry is allowing women to be who they are.
Yeah.
The image. You don't have to be anybody else, and I just can't stop emphasizing that, and we can stop looking at other people and just tune in to who you are.
Yeah.
To who you are, that you can do what God has called you to do.
Yeah. Because God has given us each a unique and special gift. And if we just focus on that and doing that, it opens up so many doors and takes us so many places. And like you said, your lane is not my lane, is not your lane. And so we can't compare ourselves to one another. Height, weight, skin complexion, hair, we get in our minds, and I think that kind of feeds into some of that self-doubt and self-loathing. But we look at one another and we compare, and why is she this height, and why is her hair color this color, and why are her eyes, and it's like, just worry about what God gave you. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
absolutely. I tell people at work, I come from Betty. I don't come from whoever your mama is. This is it.
Yeah, this is it.
This is it. There's nothing I can do about it, I mean, and I've learned, to really, even with my own sisters, embrace even my sisters. We're three different versions of my mom.
Yeah.
And we all look different, but we all come from other genes as well.
Right.
People from her side of the family, genetics from my dad's side of the family.
Yeah.
And I no longer can, and I guilty as charged. I don't know what everybody else has been doing, but I will look at my sisters and other family members and compare myself and like, well, why didn't I get that? And why do I have all the extra up here? And they don't have it, And so that was, I'm a TMI. I'm sorry, everybody who knows me knows me. So,
yes.
And so, but, I had to learn this is who God created.
That's right.
This is who it is. And, and again, and just to embrace it. And I did want to go back, though, when you said knowing who we are. I did find myself in a place, Mona and Franda, that I was someone that I didn't even like.
Oh, wow.
And we were saying, well, be who you are. Make sure it's something that everybody can like,
That's
too.
right.
And make sure you can like it. That is...
Like it and live with it.
Like it and live with it, exactly. So that is something that I've recently had to come to terms with, that different parts of me... I didn't like certain parts of me. Certain parts of me that maybe that I actually thought I had gotten rid of or overcome, but they were actually just suppressed. And when exposed to the right elements, they were exposed.
Comes out.
And so, I really didn't like that. But at the same time, I heard something, I think this morning on the television ministry, and they were saying how God actually uses other people sometimes to bring things out of you.
Yeah.
So he can take you to the next level.
Yeah.
It's not about using that person as a Satan vessel, but sometimes other things have to be presented to you to expose yourself.
That's right.
And so, if I hadn't been exposed, I don't think I would be able to graduate to the next level.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. All right, so we're going to wrap up in a few minutes. So I just wanted to see, ladies, and I try to ask this with every segment. Sometimes I forget, Lord have mercy. But One of my closing thoughts, and I like to kind of put this out there, is like, what is your why? So why do you feel like you've been called to this ministry, or what is motivating you to kind of push forth with this event? And I think you and I kind of shared a little bit about it. So just, share again what you feel like your why is.
I think it's me, myself, and I. Because I knew where I was. And I felt like in my life that I should have been further than where I am. And now that God has allowed me to, He's exposing me to me and let me know that that I don't have to depend on anybody but Him, and let me know that a lot of times we don't want to do things by ourselves. But in order to be in my own lane, I have to do this.
Okay.
And whatever else, not just a conference, just other things also. Just me, myself, and I. Just knowing, getting a hold of who I am, my image.
Yeah. Because other women are dependent on that. Somebody's going to get something from that conference that's going to help them grow and go into their ministry or whatever their purpose is.
I agree. What I'm hoping that everyone who attends, and please attend, don't just like, oh, this is Thanksgiving, the weekend before Thanksgiving, I have to do my shopping. Take some me time out and attend this. Even if you don't even attend the vending version of this, come out and do the ministry portion, do the feasting portion of it. Have lunch with us and listen to the word and be empowered to go out and do your thing. The one thing that God has called you to be, not me,
That's right.
not Franda, but the one thing. And I have to say this, and the only reason I'm doing this is because Mona actually reached out to me. We met happenstance 2 years ago. Yeah, just by happenstance 2 years ago. But she's kind of been, hey, I need you. I'm like, I really want to do it, but I am a yes girl. I'm like, okay, all right. And I'm like, I just do that. But she's actually pulling things out of me.
Yeah.
So be careful. You may encounter someone who just may bring the best out of you.
Yeah.
And you just never knew it was even there. So that's what I'm hoping people get. The lady you're sitting next to at the table. You know, that one-on-one conversation that you held just before you said grace. Or right after, the exchange of the phone numbers. Networking is one thing, it's fine, you're doing the business networking, but the spiritual networking.
That's very true.
That you need the powerful connection there.
Yeah.
So I hope, when people come out, that they get that and they walk away with it and they just pour into other people from this point on, just paying it forward.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, ladies. I appreciate you coming out.
Thank you.
Kind of like cold/drizzly.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
And I want to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I'll be back on the 26th with my little air cast and my crutches and all that good stuff.
Oh, goodness.
I'm having a lot going on. My daughters are like, girl, it's not that serious. And I'm like, well, you guys, let me get a bell and maybe a megaphone.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
I love it.
So I'm going to milk this. They're just like,
You better.
rolling their eyes.
Yes.
They're like, oh, my God. Yeah, I'm going to milk this for as long as I can. They'll be like, you aren't even in a cast anymore. What are you talking about? What are you doing?
You're supposed to be well by now.
Right. It'll be like June of next year. I'll be like, y'all, can you come hand me this remote right here?
Absolutely not. Cannot do it.
Right. I was even talking about getting the little it's like a little cart, and they were like, seriously, they were like, you're not even gonna be on crutches for that long. You don't. I was like, but still, I just want to ride around and like push myself in a little cart. They're like,
Oh my goodness.
they're like, no.
That is funny.
So once again, thank you, ladies, for coming. I wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Have a blessed and safe holiday if you're traveling. And I will be back on the 26th, and we'll have another guest. Her name is Brittany Willis, and she has a new book that she just published too, and it's about single parenthood. So she's supposed to come today, but she couldn't make it. So she'll be back on the 26th, and I'm really excited to talk about her book as well.
Perfect.
But thank you, ladies. I enjoyed it.
Yes.
Yes. All right. So we'll see you in a couple weeks.
The biggest station in the world, playing all of today's hits. You're listening to Instinct Radio.